count a curse for the third time. He half-lifted Malfoy into the second position. That must be good. There may be a certain amount of snarling, but if you take it immediately, we might avoid even that. He supported Malfoy across the bathroom, turning at the door to say, in a voice of cold fury, "And you, wait here." It did not occur to Harry for a second to disobey. He stood up slowly, shaking, and looked down at the wet floor. There were blood stains floating like pools of flowers across its surface. He could not even find it in himself to tell when we heard it to be quiet, as she continued to wave the sob with increasingly evident enjoyment. Snape returned 10 minutes later. He stepped into the bathroom and closed the door behind him. He said to Myrtle, and she pulled back and followed at once, leaving a ringing silence behind her. "I didn't mean it," said Harry at once, his voice echoed in the open watery space. "I didn't know what that spell did." "It's Snape, of course. Apparently I underestimated you," said Harry. "George, such a magic. George, that's... I read about it. It's a library." Harry invented one. "I remember what it was called. Yeah," said Snape. Harry's throat went dry. He knew what Snape was going to do, but he had never been able to relate. The bathroom seemed to shimmer before his eyes. He struggled to block out all thought. Try as he might, the half-blood Princess Pompey of advanced potion-making swam hazily to the forefront of his mind. And then he was staring at Snape again, in the midst of this reckless of fun. Staring at his big black eyes, moving against her. Snape had not seen what he had. "Bring those," said Snape softly. "And all these rules, and all bring them to the There was no point arguing. Harry turned at once and splashed out of the bar. Once more, looking for a laboratory. Most people were holding him. They gaped at him, drenched in watery blood, but he answered none of the questions fired at him as he ran past. He felt stunned. It was as though a beloved pet had turned suddenly savage. What had the prince been thinking to copy such a spell into his book? And what would happen when Snape saw it? Would he tell Slughorn, Harry's stomach churned, how Harry had been achieving such good results in potions or gear? Would he confiscate or destroy the book that had taught Harry so much? The book that had become a kind of guide and friend. Or let it happen. He could not. Matthew, why are you choking? Ron was standing at the top of the stairs, looking bewildered at the sight of Harry. Harry panted, "Your potions will give it to me." But what about the half-blood? Later. Ron pulled his trolley of advanced potion-making out of his bag and handed it over. Harry split it off past him and banked it. Here he seized his full bag, ignoring the amazed looks of several people who had already finished their dinner, threw himself back out of the corner hall and the dancing trolls, closed his eyes and began to walk. He raced behind him and kept three times he walked up and down in front of the stretch of road. When he opened his eyes, there it was at last.
There we go.
Flung himself inside and slammed it shut. He could not help her.
Show some food.
He was standing in a
Or do anything else.
Must be objects hidden by generations of animals and animals. There were only points of roads, walking by teetering clouds. Damaged furniture, stowed away matters, behind the evidence of this magic, or else hidden by castle mountains. There were thousands and thousands of books, without value or beauty. There were big books of blank business, some still big up like mountains, there were chimneys and cheap potions and sea jewels. There were past an enormous stump hole, ran on a short way, and left a broken vanishing cabinet in which Montague had got lost in the sleep, finally pausing beside a large cupboard that seemed to have been racing with his twisted surface. All of the cupboard's creaking doors. It had already been used as a hiding place for something in a cage that had long since died. Its skeleton had 5 legs. He stopped the half-run dresses behind the cage and slammed the door. He paused for a moment, his heart pumping forwardly, gazing around the closet. Would he be able to find the spot again of his thoughts? Stealing the chip bust of an ordinary warlock from on top of a nearby crate, he stood it on top of the cupboard where the book was now hidden, perched by just the old big and tarnished tiara on the statue's head to make it more distinctive. Then sprinted back through the alleyways and jumped as fast as he could go, back to the door, back out onto the corridor, where he slammed the door behind him, and it turned at once back into stone. Harry ran flat out toward the bathroom on the podium, grabbing Ron's copy of advanced potion making into his bag as he did so. A minute later, he was back in front of Snape, who held out his hand wordlessly for Harry's school bag. Harry handed it over, panting, a searing pain in his chest, and waited. One by one, Snape extracted Harry's books and examined them. Finally, the only book left was the potions book, which he looked at very carefully before speaking. This is your copy of advanced potion making, said Potter. Yes, said Harry, still breathing hard. I'm sure then, Potter. Yes, said Harry, with a touch more defiance. This is the copy of advanced potion making that you purchased from Flourish and Plots. Yes, said Harry firmly. Then why, asked Snape, does it have the name? Was it? Harry smiled mysteriously. That's my nickname, he said. Your nickname, repeated Snape. Yeah, that's what my friends call me, said Harry. I understand what a nickname is, said Snape. The cold bright eyes were boring once more into Harry's. He tried not to look into them. Close your mind. But he had never learned how to do it properly. Do you know what I think, Potter? Said Snape very quietly. I think that you are a liar and a cheat, and that you deserve detention with me every Saturday until the end of its term. What do you think, sir? I don't agree, sir, said Harry, still refusing to look into Snape's eyes. Well, we shall see how you feel after your detentions, said Snape. 10 o'clock Saturday morning, sir. My office. But sir, said Harry, looking up desperately, why didn't you? The last match of it would be 10. Oh, whispered Snape, with a smile that showed his yellow teeth. Oh, Lord, place this. And he left the bathroom without another word, leaving Harry to stare into the cracked mirror, feeling sick and reassured that Ron had never felt in his life. I will say I told you so, said Hermione an hour later. Leaving. Harry had never made it to dinner. He had no appetite at all. Hermione and Ginny wasn't happy. But Hilda had travelled very fast, apparently only Myrtle had taken it upon herself to pop up in every bathroom in the castle to tell the story. Malfoy had already been visited in the hospital by Patsy Parkinson, who lost no time in inquiring Harry far and wide, and Snape had told the staff precisely what had happened. Harry had already been called out of the top of 20 or 15 highly unpleasant minutes in the common was lucky enough to spell. She's reporting wholeheartedly Snape's punishment, intending every Saturday to be a good Fortunately, the son is not that bit's person. Hermione said, definitely unable to stop herself. And it was right, wasn't I? No, I don't think you were, said Harry stubbornly. He was having a bad enough time without Hermione lecturing him. But also on the difficulty in his faces when he had told her that he would not be able to play on Saturday. it out. It's not like he was advising anyone to use it for all we know. He was making a note of something that had been used against him. Don't believe this, said Hermione. You're actually defending. I'm not defending what I did, said Harry quickly. I wish I hadn't done it, and not just because I've got another dozen intentions. You know I wouldn't have used a spell like that, not even on the Malfoy. But you can't blame the prince. He hadn't really to try this out. It's really good. He was just making notes for himself, wasn't he? Not for anyone else. Are you telling me, said Hermione, that you're going to your pen and get the book? Yeah, I am, said Harry forcefully. Listen, without the prince, I'd never have got the Felix Felicis. I'd never have known how to save Ron from poisoning. I'd never have got a reputation for potions brilliance you don't deserve, said Hermione nastily. Give it a rest, Hermione, said Ginny. But Harry was so amazed, so grateful, he looked up. By the sound of it, Malfoy was trying to use an unforgivable curse. You should be glad Harry had something good up his sleeve. Of course I'm glad Harry wasn't cursed, said Hermione, clearly stunned. But you can't call that sector spell, will you? You understand, did you? When I report seeing what this has done to your chances in the match. Oh, don't start acting as though you understand Quidditch, snapped Ginny. You'll only embarrass yourself. Now, what's there? Hermione and Ginny, who have always got on together very well, were now sitting with their arms folded, carrying opposite directions. Ron looked nervously at Harry, then snatched up the book at random and hid behind it. Harry, however, little though he knew he deserved it, felt unbelievably cheerful all of a sudden, even though none of them spoke again for the rest of the evening. His lightheartedness was short-lived. There was slithering thoughts to be endured next day, not to mention much anger from fellow Gryffindors who were most unhappy that their captain had got himself banned in the final match of the season. By Saturday morning, whatever he might have told Hermione, Harry would have gladly exchanged all the Felix Felicis in the world in walking down to the Quidditch pitch with Ron, Ginny, and the others. It was almost unbearable to turn away from the massive students streaming out into the sunshine, all of them wearing rosettes and hats and brandishing banners and scarves, to descend the stone steps into the dungeons, and walk into the distant sounds of the trial were quite obliterated, knowing that he would not be able to hear a word of commentary or a cheer or groan. Ah, Master, said Snape, when Harry had knocked on his door and entered the unpleasantly familiar office that Snape, despite teaching floors above now, had not vacated. It was as dimly lit as ever, and the same slimy dead objects were suspended in coloured potions all around the walls. Ominously, there were many cobweb boxes piled on a table where Harry was clearly supposed to sit. They had an Mr. Filch has been looking for someone to clear out these old buildings, said Snape softly. They are the records of other Hogwarts wrongdoings and their punishments. Where the evenings go things, the carpets have suffered damage from mice, who were likely to bring out those conditions correctly and making sure that they were enough of it. They placed them in the nonsense. Right, so that's said Harry, as much as the last place I thought this said Snape with a malicious smile on his passed again and again the last one. Simply runs fast to break every one. Perhaps Snape would be pushed into the next slowly. He would not be here for a minute after that. An hour? That's right. Harry's stomach started rumbling when the clock showed 12:30. Snape, who had not spoken at all since letting Harry his task, finally looked up at 1:10. I think that will do, he said coldly. Mark the place you have reached. You will consult at 10 o'clock next Saturday. Yes, sir. Harry stuffed a bent card into the box at random and hurried out of the door before Snape could change his mind, racing back up the stone steps, straining his ears to hear a sound from the pitch, when all was quiet. It was over then. He hesitated outside the crowded great hall, then went up the marble staircase, where the Gryffindor won or lost, the team usually celebrated or commiserated in their little common. Quid, Margis? He said tentatively to the top lady, wondering what he would find inside. Her expression was unreadable as she replied, "You'll see," and she swung forward. A roar of celebration erupted from the hall behind her. Harry gaped as people began to scream at the sight of him. Several hands pulled him into the room. "We won!" yelled Ron, bounding into sight, brandishing the silver cup at Harry. "We won! 450 to 140 in 5. Harry looked around. There was Ginny running toward him. She had a hard, blazing look in her face as she threw her arms around him, and without thinking, without planning it, without worrying about the fact that 50 people were watching, Harry kissed her. After several long moments, or it might have been half an hour, or possibly 7 something days, they were quiet. Not very quiet. Then several people left. There was nothing. Harry was Jimmy's head was deep cross. His shadow was in his head. The fingers and she might have stood somewhere. No leggings. His eyes saw him. Past mountains, touching the cup, wearing an expression his own neck, being plucked over the head. A fraction of a second they looked at each other. Then one gave a tiny jerk of the head and Harry understood to be, well, it must. The creature in his chest, grin in triumph, grinned down at Jimmy, a gesture of words nothing. The moment they might have discussed it. Chapter 25. The Seer. The fact that Harry Potter was growing up with Jim Reese was dressed in great loving people, girls, yet Harry found himself nearly and nearly in the earliest possible place where he was. No, it made a very nice change to be thought about him as also because making it now remember him very long time after he was said Jenny as she sat on the floor. His Harry's legs were leaning and taking hold. The mentor attends space. All the main goes his arms and heels to you behind the real tattoo across your chest. Why did you? Harry, what did you tell them? I told him it's our area of said Jenny, turning the newspaper idly. Much more richer. Thank you, said Harry, grinning. What did you tell her, Ronstone? I picked it up, but I didn't say where. Tom scowled as a line in rolled about there. Watch it, he said, pointing warningly at Harry and Ginny. Just because I've given my permission doesn't mean I can't withdraw it. Your permission? Stopped Ginny. Since when did you give me permission to do anything? Anyway, you said yourself you'd rather it was Harry than I thought Dean. Said Ron grudgingly. Just as long as you don't start stalking each other in public. Yeah. What about the orders having to mashing around and getting on the heels all over the place? Reminded Ginny. I promised the lot of us was not to be tested much as they could in Jimmy's time together was becoming increasingly restricted. Jimmy's owned up to levels where Jim's therefore forced was very Hermione firmly, until you've heard me out. Now, I've been trying to find out a bit about Lengthy the hobby in visiting drum spells. He didn't make a hobby of it. He was this, said Harry crossly. Please, Hermione, please. Said Hermione, red patches blazing in her cheeks as she pulled her very own piece of slammed it down on the table. Underneath the photograph was the caption, "Highly Prince, of the Hogwarts Cobblestones." Said Harry, standing short of the title, which the beginning of was a rather dull story about its competitions. He was the Highly Prince. They looked at each other, and Harry realized what Hermione was trying to say. He burst out laughing. And no way. What? You think she was the one? Oh, come on. I'm not happy. There aren't any reasons in the city world. It's either a nickname, a made-up title somebody's given themselves, or it could be their actual name. Now listen, you say your father was a wizard whose surname was Prince, and her mother was a muggle. That would make her a very ingenious Hermione. Was it? She was proud of being a prince. Listen, Hermione, I can tell it's not a girl. I can just tell. The truth is that you don't even know to be with everyone, said Hermione angrily. How can I have hung around with you for 5 years and not think girls are clever? Said Harry, stunned by this. It's the way he writes. I just know the prince, but I can tell. This girl is a good healing. Where did you get this anyway? Said Hermione predictably. There's a whole collection of old topics up there. Well, you can find out more about Highly Prince if I can. Enjoy yourself, said Harry irritably. I will, said Hermione. And the first place I looked, she shot at him as she reached the bottom hole. It's records of all potions awards. Harry scowled after her for a moment, then continued his contemplation of the darkening sky. She's just never had a real while performing her potions, said Ron, returning to his hobby of 1,000 magical herbs and fungi. You don't think I'm mad, wanting that book back, do you? Of course not, said Ron robustly. He was a genius, the prince. Anyway, now he's resorted. He took his fingers in literally the process of the fruit. I won't be here to discuss it, will I? I mean, I'll say that spelling. I'm not going to trade. Why, said Harry quickly. I need to remind you. What's making up to said Harry. This was perfectly true. Although his conscience was slightly all the same. It's to say, there's a funny engagement snake this Saturday. Not continued. Yeah, and the Saturday after that. And the Saturday after that, sighed Harry. And he's hinting now that if I don't get all the boxes done by the end of the term, I'll carry on next year. He was finding these detentions particularly irksome because they cut into the already limited time with spending with Ginny. Indeed, he had frequently wondered lately whether Snape did not know this, for he was keeping Harry later and later at bedtime, while making pointed asides about Harry having to listen to whether the very opportunities offered. Shaken with these bitter reflections by the appearance at his side of Jimmy Weeks, was what become slow departure. Thanks, Jimmy. Thanks for coming, said Harry excitedly about the departure of the Snape. Snape, it's not this is you. Stared at each other. He's making us to walk. He was thinking. Yes, better go and see, said Harry, jumping to his feet. the corner, saw Professor Trelawney sprawled upon the floor, her head covered in one of her many shawls, several sherry bottles lying beside her, one broken. Professor! Harry hurried forward and helped Professor Trelawney to her feet. Some of her glittering beads had become entangled with her glasses. She hiccuped loudly, patted her hair, and pulled herself up on Harry's helping arm. What happened, Professor? You may well ask, she said shrilly. I was struggling on certain things may have glimpsed. Harry was not paying much attention. He had just noticed while they were standing, there on the right was the tapestry of dancing drawers. That's the switches to the ceiling. Professor, are you trying to get into the environment? I've been large seal.
Oh, yes.
She was suddenly shaken. Environment, repeated Harry. Are you trying to get in there? I didn't know students about all of them do, said Harry. You screamed. It sounded as though you were hurt. Said Professor Trelawney, drawing her shawls around her defensively, staring down at him with her vastly magnified eyes. Irish.
Cannons.
She wanted something about it. Right, said Harry, glancing down at the sherry bottles. But you couldn't get in and hide them. You found this very odd. When you found your already even wanted to hide them on abundance. Said Professor Trelawney, glaring. Somebody already. Somebody demanded Harry. No idea, said Professor Trelawney, looking slightly taken aback at the urgency in Harry's voice. I wanted to go. Just never happened before in all my years of hiding. Oh, news. A voice saying, I didn't see you, said Professor Trelawney. She said nothing. Harry stared at her. Was it male or female? Said Professor Trelawney. And it sounded happy. Very happy, said Professor Trelawney slowly, as though he was celebrating. And then, and now, without asking, Harry asked her, slightly frustrated. Said Professor Trelawney, continually straightening her shoulders, and his hands of glittering beads was fixed upon Peter's well outside the Monday grill. Right, said Harry hastily. He had heard about Professor Trelawney's inner eye once or once before, and did the voice say what was there? He didn't want to, she said. Everything went pitch black. Next thing I knew, I was being asked and asked out of one. And you didn't see that coming, said Harry, unable to help himself. I did not. I see. Speak. She stopped and glared at him suspiciously. I think you'd better tell Professor Dumbledore, said Harry. He wanted to know that Dumbledore is celebrating. I mean, there's someone threw you out. In surprise, Professor Trelawney drew herself up at this suggestion. It lasted as intimated that you would love your visits. She said coldly, I don't know what to miss my company of others. How gorgeous is the ring. It was the clouds show. We had something around Harry's wrist. Again, no matter how I lay them out. She pulled the card, activating from underneath her shawls. The life links flew on, she whispered. Calamity and disaster coming near all the time. Right, said Harry again. Well, I still think you should tell Dumbledore about this voice and everything going on and being thrown out of you. I don't think so. Professor Trelawney seemed to consider the matter for a moment, but Harry could tell that she liked the idea of retelling her little adventure. I'm going to see him right now, said Harry. I've got a meeting with him. We can go together. Thank you, said Professor Trelawney with a smile. She bent down, scooped up the sherry bottles, and dumped them unceremoniously in a large white vase standing in a nearby niche. Miss Harry, in my classes then, she said thoughtfully as they sat up together. Don't remember much of a thing. Harry did not reply. He had loved being the object of Professor Trelawney's continual predictions. She went on. There was nothing about this. I asked him, and he not sense vibrations coming at us. But his implied view, nothing was the voice was rather hysterically. Perhaps the horse was heard people say, I'm not intended in my career and unskilled. This could be landed by manager's fingers. You always see such a let me teach you this great story. So much trust in me all these years, and I love you, my soul. Having something very distinct. I will remember my first interview. Professor Trelawney had made the prophecy that had altered the course of his whole life. Prophecy about him. Advice that was she was silent. There was the a man standing with walking about him, wrong things. I myself from what he had been apprehended. Eavesdropping on my infant. No. You see, himself, see him. No, you can't do this. After that, no, will seem much more disposed to control. I would not it was before seeing the contrast between my own unassuming manners and quiet talent compared to the bushy, thrusting young man who was prepared to listen. You know? She looked back over her shoulder, having only just realized that Harry was no longer with her.
Oh,
He
really?
had stopped walking, and they were now 10 feet from each
I
other.
don't even have golden boots.
She repeated uncertainly. Francis's face was white, they looked so uncertain. Standing stock still, as waves of shock crashed over him. Wave after wave, penetrating everything, except the information that had been kept from him for so long. It was slave. Prophecy. The snake would have carried the wings of the prophecy to God. The snake had made a prediction together and set all devour Lily and James and their son. Nothing else mattered to Harry just now. And said the message of the figure. And he thought that you could see it first. Choose. Said Harry, not close. I was going to tell you how I was. You stay here. She looked around as he ran past her around the corridor, where the little apartments were sacred. He shouted past the garden. He smiled the staircase 3 steps at a time. He did not knock on the doors. The calm voice answered, "There you go." After Harry already flung himself in. Holmes, Felix looked around, his bright black eyes gleaming with reflected gold in the sunset beyond the windows. Dumbledore standing in the window, looking out at the grounds, a long black trembling cloak in his arms. "Well, Harry, I promised that you could come with me." For a moment or two, Harry did not understand. The conversation with Trelawney had taken every minute's out of his head, but his brain seemed to be very slowly. Harry took a second before the shock of excitement. Several things Harry would not speak. It is natural to be afraid, said Dumbledore. I'm not scared, said Harry at once. It was perfectly true. Fear was one emotion he was not capable of. Chalk foxes it. Where is it? I'm sure which it is. No, I think we could not have the sleep. Image of the king on the coast. That's the cave I have been trying to keep.
Oh no.
Yes, said Harry. How is it complete? Harry, I have suspicions that Dumbledore hesitated, then said, Harry, I promised you that you could come with me. I stand by that promise, but it will be very probably not for you. This will be extremely dangerous. I'm coming, said boiling with anger and sleep. His desire to do something desperate and risky had increased tenfold in the last few minutes. It seemed to show on Harry's face. Despite Harry's sleepiness still drawing rounds. What was that? Nothing, replied Harry promptly. What was upsetting you? I'm not upset. Harry, what is that? Ignited Harry's fury. Strength, he said very loudly, and watching the soft soul ignited. Strength, what's happened? He was on board. What's it? He listened outside the room. He told me. Dawn's expression did not change. Harry thought his face white, but he was passed by the setting sun. Dawn said nothing. And he asked what? Said Harry, who was refraining from yelling, but ignored the difficulty. And then, suddenly, he could not stop himself. And you let him teach here, and he told Voldemort to go after my mum and dad. Breathing hard as though he was fighting, Harry turned away from Dumbledore, who still had not moved a muscle. He paced up and down the study, rubbing his knuckles in his hand, and exercising every last bit of restraint to prevent himself knocking things over. He wanted to rage and storm at Dumbledore, but he also wanted to go with him to try and destroy Horcrux. He wanted to tell him that he was a foolish old man to trust his Snape. He was terrified that Dumbledore would not take him on unless he mastered his anger. Henry, said Dumbledore quietly, ease this. It was as difficult to stop his relentless pacing as to refrain from shouting. Harry paused, biting his lip, and looked into Dumbledore's lined face. Professor Snape would be the terror. Somebody was going to say, sir. He was listening at the door. Dumbledore waited until Harry had nodded curtly, then went on. Professor Snape would be the terror. He was still. Hogwarts said before I underrated the first half of Professor Snape's prophecy. Naturally, John's master wanted to concern his master. But he did not know. He had no possible faith in which boy Voldemort would hunt from then onward, or that the parents he would destroy in his bloodless quest would people the Professor Snape. And they were your mother, father. Harry let out a yell of murderous laughter. He hated my dad like he hated Sirius. You noticed, Professor, how the people Snape hates tend to end up dead. You have no idea of the remorse Professor Snape felt when he realized how Voldemort had interpreted the prophecy, Harry. I believe it to be the greatest regret of his life, and is when he returned. But he's a very good optimist, isn't he, sir? Said Harry, whose voice was shaking with the effort of keeping it steady. And isn't Voldemort convinced that Snape's on his side, even now? Professor, how do you be sure Snape's on his side? Dumbledore did not speak. It was as though he was trying to make up his mind about something. At last he said, I am sure. I trust Professor. Harry breathed deeply for a few moments in an effort to steady himself. He did not. He said, my eyes are up to something with Draco Malfoy. Now I don't even know, but you still even discuss this, said Dumbledore. Now it sounded slow again. I told you I bet you don't even consider the statement Malfoy might decide to. What? Asked Dumbledore, his eyebrows raised. What is it? Precisely. Why? Not just something, said Harry, and his hands still listened to his quietly, trying to hide her shabby boots. She heard Malfoy celebrating straight something. And if you ask me, he's instant advanced. If you're about to just walk out of school without he laughed, said Dumbledore. He said quite calmly, yet Harry fell silent at once. He didn't even quietly cross his mouth in a visible way. My students
Okay.
Mumbled Harry, a little abashed, when Dumbledore cut across him. I do not wish to discuss the matter any further. Harry bit back his retort, scared that he had gone too far, that he had ruined his chance of accompanying Dumbledore. But Dumbledore went on. Do you wish to come with me tonight? Yes, said Harry at once. Very well then, listen. Dumbledore drew himself up to his full height. I take you with me on one condition, that you obey any command I might give you at once, and without question. Of course. Be sure to understand me, Harry. I mean that you must follow even such orders as run, hide, or go back. Do I have your word? Yes, of course. If I tell you to hide, you will do so. Yes. If I tell you to flee, you will obey. Yes. If I tell you to leave me and save yourself, you will do as I tell you. Harry? They looked at each other for a moment. Yes, sir. Very good. Then I wish you to go and fetch your invisibility cloak and meet me in the entrance hall in 5 minutes' time. Dumbledore turned back to look out of the fiery window. The sun was now a movie red glare along the horizon. Harry walked quickly from the office and down the spiral staircase. His mind was oddly clear all of a sudden. He knew what to do. Ron and Hermione were sitting together in the common room when he came back. What is he want? Hermione said at once. Are you okay? She added anxiously. I'm fine, said Harry shortly, racing past them. He dashed up the stairs and into his dormitory where he flung open his trunk and pulled out the Marauders map and a pair of balled-up socks. Then he sped back down the stairs and into the common room, skidding to a halt where Ron and Hermione sat, looking stunned. I've got to be quick, Harry panted. Dumbledore thinks I'm getting my invisibility cloak. Listen. Quickly he told them where he was going and why. He did not pause either for Hermione's gasps of horror or for Ron's hasty questions. They could work out the finer details for themselves later. So you see what this means? Harry finished at a gallop. Dumbledore won't be here tonight, so Malfoy's going to have another clear shot of whatever he's up to. Don't listen to me, he hissed angrily, as both Ron and Hermione showed every sign of interrupting. I know it was Malfoy celebrating in the Room of Requirement. Here. He shoved the Marauder's map into Hermione's hands. You've got to watch him. You've got to watch Snape, too. There was anyone else whom you could rustle up from the DA, Hermione. Those contact galleons will still work, right? Dumbledore says he's put extra protection in the school. But if Snape's involved, you'll know what Dumbledore's protection is and how to avoid it. But he won't be expecting you lot to be on the watch, will he? Began Hermione, her eyes huge with fear. I haven't got time to argue, said Harry curtly. Take this as well. He thrust the fox into Ron's hands. Thanks, said Ron. Why do I need stocks? You need what's wrapped in them. It's the Helix Felicis. Share it between yourselves and Ginny too. Say goodbye to her for me, and let her go. Duncan was waiting. No, said Hermione, as Ron unwrapped a tiny little bottle of golden potion, looking more struck. You don't want it, you take it. Who knows what you're going to be missing? I'll be fine, I'll be with Dumbledore, said Harry. I want to know you are okay. Don't look like that, Hermione. Just leave it. And he was off, hurrying back through the portrait hole toward the entrance wall. Dumbledore was sitting beside the empty front doors. He turned as Harry came skidding out on the cobbles, stepping on the empty line with a serious smile. I would like you to wear the culture boots, said Dumbledore, as he waited until Harry shall we? Dumbledore set up at once down the stone steps, his own travelling cloak barely stirring in the still summer air. He hurried alongside him under the invisibility cloak, still panting and sweating around the lot. When this evening in the mist, Harry asked him, trying to pound the snake. When I got into Oxford, said Dumbledore lightly, I sometimes offer Oswald to my custom, but there's no Oxford. They made their way down the drive and were gathering quietly. The air was full of the smells of grass, lake water, and woods. It's happened. Just a couple to believe that they were getting really big dangerous on the way. Listen, said Harry quietly, as the gates of the drive came to be honest, what if he spoiled everything by turning up 100 miles from where he was supposed to go? No matter, said Dumbledore, I insist.
Candy shop.
They turned out of the maze and quiet and deserted lane in Oxford. Darkness descended fast.
Another warehouse?
By the time they reached the
No,
high
there's something else.
lights,
Oh, wardrobe.
lights,
And there's a landscape.
they knelt between the sticks, they heard shouting. I'm finding out, shouted Madame Rosenberg, forcibly ejecting and rubbing things. Oh, there's no one else to get out here. B&B Rosenberg, dear. Look at me. I'm off to Hogshead. No offense. I made my quiet hands here tonight. A minute later, they turned the corner to Side Street where the Hogshead sign was written. There was a breeze. In contrast to the three sticks, the front of the entrance. Once there was that horrible sensation that he was being squeezed through the rubbish. Everyone has this every part of the field of press was across their mirrors, and then, just when he thought he was suffocating, the invisible man seemed to burst out. He was standing upwards, breathing in upwards of fresh, salty air. Chapter 26. The light chilly breeze ruffled his hair as he looked out over the sea and stars in the sky. He was standing on a high altitude garden, overlooking cherry green. He glanced over his shoulder at the towering cliffs behind him, the sheer top of the bank faces. Few large chunks of rock such as one on the chariot Dumbledore was standing, just the vacant broken blade of the faces sunlight to the birds. Asked Dumbledore. He might have been asking Harrison Baker not whether it was a sign for a gift. They thought the kids would be watching. Asked Harry. Could imagine the best coats of stuff for a tea trip. Precisely, said Dumbledore. That's a manager who sorts about halfway along the cliffs behind us. I believe they all mountaineers, and boats cannot approach the cliffs, causes rather than difficult. I imagine the riddle flying down.
It's
As you would observe later the rooms, and he brought two children with him, probably with a pleasure of terrorizing. I think the journey alone would be done in junction. Having observed the clever then, he felt those bumps. But his final destination, and ours, lies in the path. Dumbledore led Harry to the very edge of the rock, where a series of jagged beaches made footholds leading down to holes that lay half submerged in water. It's a treacherous descent. Dumbledore slightly right with a hand. Harry inflicts all sorts of rain in his face. "Doors," said Dumbledore as he reached the bottom of the horses in the place. A thousand plates of golden light sparkled on the dark surface of the water, pure and red front. The black wall of rock beside him was illuminated. "You see," said Dumbledore, holding his wand in the fire. Harry saw a fissure in the cliff, which dark fortress. "Will not check the getting of the said Harry. "Then take off your invisibility cloak. There is no danger in now. And let us take the plan." And with the sudden maturity of a much younger man, Dumbledore slid landed at the sea, and began to swim. And slowly, once at the rock face, his little one held in his teeth. And the corner of his coat was stuffed into his pocket. The water was icy. Harry's waterlogged clothes weighted down. Taking deep breaths that filled his nostrils with the salt and seaweed, he struck out with shivering, shrieking like alcohol. The fish moved into a dark tunnel that Harry could tell to be the high tide. The slimy walls were barely 3 feet apart and glimmered like wet tar in the passing light of Dumbledore's wand. A little way in, the passageway curved to the left, and Harry saw that it extended far into the distance. He continued to swim in Dumbledore's wake, the tips of his benumbed fingers brushing across his head rock. Then he saw Dumbledore's eyes yellow. His silver hair was dark and when Harry reached his wife, he found steps that led into a large cave. He clambered up and a stream of silky bubbles, and emerged shivering uncontrollably into the stillness. Dumbledore was standing in the middle of the cave, his arm held high as he turned slowly on the spot with his hand in his Yes, it's the face, said Dumbledore. Harry slowly listened. "It has said Dumbledore slowly. Harry could tell that the shivers he was experiencing due to the spine of his bones born from the same man's sledgehammers. He watched as Dumbledore continued to revolve on the spot, evidently concentrating on things Harry could not see. "This is the said Dumbledore calmly. Penetrating in the face. Now it is Lord Voldemort's box. Let's head our way out of the house in nature." Dumbledore approached the wall. His light fingers, three words in straight front that Harry did not understand. Twice Dumbledore walked right around the cave, touching as much of the front rock as he could, occasionally pausing, running his fingers back and forth. Finally, swung his hand pressing back against him. He said, "No." Yet that's business. Harry did not ask how Dumbledore. He had never seen someone things up like this simply by the way of touching. But Harry long since learned that bangs and smoke were more often marks of irritating expertise. Dumbledore stepped back. Said Harry, chattering his lips. The outline had gone. The book was bare and solid as ever. Dumbledore. Harry, yikes, no, sorry. It will not, he said. He now pointed his wand at Harry, and at once his clothes were as warm and dry as if they had been hanging under the blaze. Said Harry gratefully, but Dumbledore had already turned his attention back to the solid cave. He did not try any more magic, but simply stood there staring at it intently, as though something extremely interesting was revealed. Harry stayed quite still. He did not want to break Dumbledore's concentration. Then, after 2 solid minutes, Dumbledore said quietly, "Roach, so, what is it, Harris?" "I don't know," said Dumbledore, putting his uninjured hand inside his pocket, and drawing a short silver knife like Harry used to chop lotion in hands. But he laughed at my hand, they made that once. Said Harry, "We've got to kill him, or something." "Yes," said Dumbledore. "I've not much of I said it, said Dumbledore, shouting his name. He was pointed as the Voldemort, standing still with his fingers. "The idea, I am sure you will never know, is that your hand is always on." Once again, Dumbledore is how much he generally thinks that this is pointed, said Harry. Sometimes, however, it is unavoidable, said Dumbledore, shaking back the sleeve of his robes and exposing the ornaments of their breath. "Yes, sir," questioned Harry. As Dumbledore raised his knife, out of it, I didn't know what he was going to say. Dumbledore smiled. As the flash of silver slowly slowed from this said Dumbledore, now passing the tip of his wand over the deep cut he had made in his own arm, so that it healed instantly, just as naively our boys would. "But your blood is worth more than mine." "Ah, that seems to have done the trick, doesn't it?" The blazing silver outline of a large ship had appeared in the wall once more, but this time it did not fade away. The blood spattered rock within it instantly vanished, leaving an opening into what seemed into darkness. "After me, said Dumbledore, and he opened the archway that Harry could see, lighting his own wand mysteriously. Every sight met their eyes. They were standing on the edge of the big black lake, so vast that Harry could not make out the distant banks. It was so high, the sea was out of sight. The misty, greenish light shone far away on the light of the moon. So empty, greenish glow lighted the waters, revealing things that were otherwise velvety blackness. The memories did not
Bridge.
penetrate as far as Harry had expected. The darkness somehow denser. Darkness. "It's a story," said Dumbledore quietly. "Very careful not to step in." "Stay close to me," said Oliver on the edge of the lake, and Harry followed his way. Their footsteps made echoing, slapping sounds in the narrow brick front of the surrounding on the at the sight of the captain, falling on the expanse of smooth, glassy blackness, in the very middle of which was that mysterious greenish glow. Harry found the place that was silence, impressive, and unnerving. "Listen," he said finally, "do you think of more questions?" "Oh, yes," said Dumbledore. "Yes, I am sure it is. The question is, how do you just like a story?" Harry said, sure that it was a suggestion, but he was much keener than he was prepared to admit of getting out of this place as soon as possible. "Certainly," said Dumbledore, stopping so suddenly that Harry always wanted. Why don't you do it? Oh, okay. Harry had not expected this, but cleared his throat and said loudly to one lump, "As the Lomax," with a noise like an explosion. Something very large and clear erupted out of the
Bang!
Before Harry could see what it was, it had vanished again with a crashing splash that made great deep ripples on the mirrored surface. Harry leapt backward in shock and hit the wall. His arm was turned to the floor. What was that? Something, I think, that is ready to respond should we attempt to seize the whole things. Harry looked backward. The surface of the lake was once more shining black. Ripples had vanished unnaturally fast. The sun, however, was still there. Did you think that was? I thought of something. Then we made an obvious attempt to get our hands on the waterfronts. That was a very good idea. Much the simplest way of finding out what we were facing. What it was, said Harry, looking at the six with his what the things are, said Dumbledore. I doubt very much that there is only one. Shall we? Yes, Harry. Actually, only already up the boat. Do you think the whole place is in the bottom? I think the whole place is in the The Dumbledore pointed to one misty green line in the center of the lake. So we're going to have to cross the lake to get to it. Yes, I think so. Harry did not say anything. His thoughts were all little monsters of giant serpents floating, skeletons and spiders. Said Dumbledore, and he slumped again. This time Harry really did not. For a moment he tumbled up into the water. Dumbledore tied the hand close tightly around his upper arm, holding him back. So sorry, Harry, I should have given warning. Stand back against the wall. Harry had no idea what Dumbledore meant. This magic dark back was exactly like every other as far as he could tell. But Dumbledore seemed to have detected something special about him. This time he was running his hand, not over the rocky wall, but thinner, as though expecting to find and grip something invisible. No, said Dumbledore, seriously. His hand had closed in midair upon something Harry could not see. Harry watched nervously as the little Dumbledore's other shadows running upwards and into the rock. His hand clenched in midair. Dumbledore released the rock and turned his face. Extending the face of Dumbledore's began to smile as best like oiling itself on the ground. The sun then was really looking at something in the depths of the black water. Tiny rocks were on the surface, like this waved chain. The place on the bank where Dumbledore stood. What's that? Harry asked in astonishment. Magic always leads traces, said Dumbledore, as the boat hit the bank with a gentle bump. Sometimes very distinctive places. I told Tom, this boat safe. Oh, yes, I think so. Voldemort needed to create a means to cross the lake without attracting the wrath of those creatures he had placed within it, in case he ever wanted to visit or remove his Horcrux. So the things in the water won't do anything to us if we cross in Voldemort's boat. I think we must resign ourselves to the fact that they will, at some point, realize we are not Voldemort. Thus far, however, we have done well. They have allowed us to raise the boat. But why have they let us? Asked Harry, who could not shake off the vision of tentacles rising out of the dark water the moment they were out of sight of the bank. Voldemort would have been reasonably confident that none but a very great wizard would have been able to find them, said Dumbledore. I think he would have been prepared to risk what was, to his mind, the most unlikely possibility that somebody else would find him, knowing that he had set other obstacles ahead that only he would be able to win. Harry looked down at the road, where he was very small. Doesn't look like it's available to me. The onlookers were being too heavy together. Dumbledore chuckled. Voldemort did not care about the reason, about the amount of magical power that was his name. I rather think that it turned the big face so that only one wizard at a time would be able to see. Then I give up thinking of it. With one on the page and up on the way, Voldemort never understood this. You know, he reached this place. I think it unlikely that your powers make you so dead. These words did nothing to raise Harry's morale. Perhaps Dumbledore, for he added, Voldemort's mistake, Harry. Voldemort's mistake. Age is foolish and forgetful when it underestimates youth. Now, you first this time, and be careful not to touch the water. Dumbledore stood aside, and Harry climbed carefully into the boat. Dumbledore stepped into a pointed chain onto the water. They were trampling together. Harry could uncomfortably sit, crouched, his knees jutting over the edge of the boat, which began to move at once. There was no sound other than the silence of cloud cleaving the water. Without them, some winds was pulling on them right and center. It was thinking along the sea walls. They might have been at sea except that there were no winds. Harry looked down and saw reflected as one bright spark. That water was mist. The moon was carving deep across the glassy surface of the dark. Then he saw it, floating majestic on the surface. He said, "There is nothing wasting now in the sight of water." It's not yes, I'm sure, said Dumbledore. Harry stared down into the vanished hand, and signaled him to his Harry had his eyes before Dumbledore. Light had slid over a rich magic this time. A dead man lying face up inches beneath the surface. His open eyes misted as though they were closed. His hair and his robes swirling round by the snow. "Can I please see you?" said Harry, and his voice sounded much milder than usual, and most unlike his own. "Yes," said Dumbledore placidly, though he did not need to worry about tearing his gaze from the water to look at Dumbledore. "And while they are nearly peaceful goods," said Dumbledore, "there is nothing to be feared from a body any more than there is anything to be feared from a darkness. Lord Voldemort will of course secretly fear those," said Lucas. "But once again he reveals his own lack of wisdom. It is the unfaithful we fear when we look upon death and darkness. Nothing." Harry said nothing. He did not want to argue, but he found the idea that there were bodies floating around them and beneath them on them. And what was more, he did not believe that they were not dangerous. "But why, John?" he said, trying to make his voice as level and calm as Dumbledore's. "When I tried to summon the Horcrux, a body leapt out of the lake." "Yes," said Dumbledore, "I am sure that once we take the Horcrux, we shall find them less miserable. However, like many creatures that dwell in cold and darkness, they fear light and warmth, which we shall therefore call to our aid should the need arise. Fire smiled in response to Harry's confused expression. "Oh, right," said Harry quickly. He turned his head to look at the greenish glow toward which the boat was still inexorably sailing. It comforted him now that he was not scared. The great black lake teeming with the dead. As he now was hours ago that he had met Professor Flummery, that he had given Ron, Hermione, Felix Felicis. He suddenly wished he had said a better goodbye to them. But he hadn't seen Ginny before. "In there," said Dumbledore cheerfully. Sure enough, greenish lights seemed to be glowing large at last. Within minutes, the boat had come to a halt, pumping gently into something that Harry could not see at first. But when he raised his head later on, said "Careful, touch not water," said Dumbledore again as Harry climbed out of the boat. The island was no larger than Dumbledore's office, an expanse of flat dark stone on which stood nothing but the source of that greenish light, which looked much brighter when we were close to. Harry submitted at it. First he thought it was a lamp of some kind, then he saw that the light was coming from a stone basin, rather like a pencil, which was set on top of the pedestal. Dumbledore approached the basin and held it on. Side by side, they looked down into it. The basin was full of liquid emitting that phosphorescent what is it? Asked Harry quietly. "Hush," said Dumbledore. "Something called Wallace with the blood flows." Dumbledore pushed back the sleeve of his coat with his right hand, stretched out the tips of his burned fingers toward the surface of the ocean. "Listen," whispered Harry. "I cannot touch," said Dumbledore, smiling faintly. "Think about it for Ginny, please." Staring, Harry put his hand into the basin and attempted to touch the ocean. He had fingers on it, and nothing but the ocean. But no matter how hard he pushed, his fingers encountered nothing but what seemed to be the soft and inflexible air. "How can we leave in his hand?" said Dumbledore. He raised his palm and made a movement so that the surface of the ocean was the surface. Nothing happened to his hands like the ocean. Right. He made slow while Dumbledore well, it was not Dumbledore was safe to follow. Voices in his head. Harry saw his face reflected upside down on the smooth surface of the green ocean. He wanted to reach it. This ocean cannot be penetrated by hand, and she was really coming or safe. Or can it be transfigured, or otherwise made to choose Almost absent-mindedly, Dumbledore raised his wand again, whirled once in midair, and then rolled his foot off. Now, I can this ocean is said Harry. Yes, I think so. If I drink it, I will see what place it's in. What's this thing? No, since eliminations, we never know. So, said Harry, trying to keep his voice reasonable. So, this is all with irons. I should have said you were not watching from the person who reached this island. Dumbledore corrected himself. He would want to keep them alive long enough to find out how they managed to penetrate so far through his defenses and, most importantly of all, why they were so intent upon the empty. Not forget that Lord Voldemort believes that he has known which countries all curses. Harry reached again. This time Dumbledore raised his hand in silence, frowning slightly at the airport, and continued. How instead, finally, this version was active, critical to regularly taking the hormones. It might paralyze me, cause me to forget what I am here for. With so much pain, I am distracted or readily incapable of some other woman. It's been that she's had it. It will be your job to ensure I achieve trinity, even if I have to dip the potion into my protesting mouth. You understand? Their eyes met over the basin, each pale face lit with that strange blue light. Harry did not speak. Was this why he had been invited along? So that he could force feed Dumbledore a potion that might cause him unendurable pain. You remember, said Dumbledore, the condition on which I brought you here. Harry hesitated, looking into the eyes that returned green the reflected light of the basin. What if you used all if you come? Follow me, come on. Yes, but did I come? That meant I didn't. Yes, said Harry. Said Dumbledore, shaking back his sleeve once more, facing the empty goblet. I am fine. I can't let you the potion instead, asked Harry desperately. Because I enjoy much less value, said Dumbledore. Once upon a time, I had more work for you. More power. His hands gripping the basin so hard that his fingertips were numb. Yes, he said anxiously, as Dumbledore lowered the empty glass. Dumbledore shook his head, his eyes open. Harry wondered whether it was his vision. Dumbledore plunged the glass blindly back into the basin. He filled it, drank once more. In silence, goblets
Any coffee with you? I gotta wait.
Dumbledore did not answer. His face was twitching as though he was deeply asleep, dreaming of horror. His grip on the goblet was slackening. The potion was about to spill. Harry reached forward past the crimson cup, holding it steady. Yes, sir. Can you hear me? He repeated loudly, his voice echoing around the cabin. Dumbledore voice, Harry did not recognize, for he had never heard Dumbledore fight like this. I protect you what? Harry stared into the white face so well that the hooded nose and the spectacles did not know what to do. What was his name? Stop, Professor, said Harry. Harry said Harry loudly, his hand shaking so badly he could hardly scoop up the sixth goblet full of potion. The place was now half empty. It's safe to you. Just say it. I swear it isn't real. Take this. Take this. And obediently, Dumbledore drank, as though it was an antidote Harry offered him. But while draining the goblet, the sank to his knees, shaking Dumbledore. This is stop. Please, stop. This will make it stop, Professor, Harry said, his voice cracking as he tipped the seventh glass of potion into Dumbledore's mouth. Dumbledore began to howl as though invisible creatures. Explaining how it was not the goblet with Harry's trembling hands as he moved. Even as he kept his eyes tight shut and shook them. Now he felt almost. It's this mouth, I'll have it built. Just drink this up. Again, as though his insides were on fire. Harry scooped up a 10th goblet full of potion and felt the crystals stream off the place. Yes, I can't drink this. Drink it. He supported Dumbledore's shoulders again. Dumbledore drank the glass. Then Harry was on his feet once more. As Dumbledore began to scream in more anguish than ever. Heavens, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. Professor, do this. Dumbledore drank. Finished, then he yelled. Yes, this is wonderful. Gasped Harry. Just drink this. Feel fun. All the fun. Dumbledore drank every last drop, and then with a great frantic nausea. Shouted Harry. Instead, he flung himself down beside Dumbledore and looked him. Dumbledore's glasses on his skin, his mouth agape, his eyes said Harry, shaking up. He shouted, jabbing the goblet with his wand. The goblet filled with clear water. Harry dropped to his knees beside Dumbledore, raised his head, and brought the glass to his lips. Dumbledore began to but I can't stop.
Oh, ready.
I'm preventing, said Harry again, pointing his wand.
I want to stop already.
Once more for a second.
But I need
But as he approached Dumbledore's mouth, the water vanished. Sir, I'm trying, said Harry desperately. He did not think that Dumbledore believed him. He rolled up his side and was drawing the rattling breaths that sounded agonizing. I want empty. The goblet filled and emptied once more, and now Dumbledore's breathing was clear. His brain whirling in panic. Harry knew instinctively the only way left to get water was vulnerable but madly so. He flung himself over to the edge of the rock and punched the goblet in the
Very good.
Where you come from. I see. So, yeah. And once you
Yeah, here we go. Okay, that's where it's got.
Because Nautilus, Harry bellowed again, backing away as he swiped his wand through the air. 6 or 7 of them crumpled.